Hi there, I'm John from CNCROI.com, and today we're going to make a laser cut lamp. Out of the hundreds of models I've designed and probably thousands that I've built here in the shop, I've never actually built a plywood lamp. So for this case here, the customer who owns a restaurant said they want some plywood lamps in the restaurant, and I said, yeah, that's no problem. Let's build it. And what I did is, just to make it a little bit more fun, I asked the customer to send me a profile of one of the slats. As you can see, the lamp is pretty straightforward. It's just the same slant repeated over and over again, all the way around, as you can see here. Could have done literally anything, but I just like having a little bit more spontaneity when we make stuff for customers. So that's why asking a customer to actually provide you with a foundation for a model that you're going to design in 3D and then build, and then they're going to have in the restaurant for years to come is a little bit of fun. Plywood is a very rigid material, but one of the downsides of plywood over a lot of other materials is that it really likes to warp on you. When you have something of this scale, it doesn't really cause too much of an issue, especially when you're making smaller models. But when you're making something larger, like I'll post on the blog the CNC laser stand I built, you need a lot of small interlocking parts to hold things together, because again, the warping starts to get more pronounced the bigger the plywood is. Now, one way around that is to go with thicker plywood, but to make a lamp at this size here using 3/4 inch plywood, it just looked too heavy. So after the laser is finished cutting all of this, you'll notice that during that video that everything was white. And the reason for that is because there was a mask. One of the downsides of plywood, again, is that it's a real big pain to sand. And the reason for that is not just because the sanding is hard, but there's only a very thin veneer of nice wood on the plywood. And if you sand it too much, you start getting into the core wood, which is definitely not as nice as the veneer wood.
Le gusta danza cuando estudio en la escuela. Pajarita se cubre botín cuando visita a su abuela. Si necesita una amiga, debe hablar con un ratoncito. Si quieres ser mi amante, debe ser alta y delgadita. Lunes, martes, ratones, pez. Miércoles, jueves, todo. Lunes, martes, ratones, pez. Miércoles, jueves.
Plywood is a nice strong material. Depending on the grade of plywood, there's a lot of different grades. Some of them have a nice finish like this, and others have like little pockets where they put in filler because there's some empty spaces inside of the plywood itself. So that's where you get the different grades. So this one here is a good grade because you notice that there's no missing holes on the edge. So when you get a lamp like this made, there's a lot of different options. We could have made this out of acrylic, transparent, semi-transparent. You could have made it out of corium. We could have made it out of literally any material. Now in this case here, the customer wants to keep it like this for the aesthetics, but this could have easily been painted any color as well. So when it comes to making custom lamps, you have limitless options really, because you can also put a fabric over this, which would look really cool with contrasting slats. One of the tricky parts about this design, again, I designed it based on the customer's slat sketch on a piece of paper, is having all the top pieces come together. Normally what you see with the design is you have a bottom where everything sort of fits in, and then you have something in the top where everything sort of fits in. And it makes assembly a breeze. What I did in this case here, just to give myself a lot of trouble, was to have an inner part locking it. So you really have nothing on the outside here. Everything sort of bends into the design. Now the problem with that is I only got 2 sets of hands, and trying to hold all of these slats, 24 slats together, I've tried a few different ways, and the way that I ended up using was the same thing I used for tea light boxes on my tealightbox.com site. It was just use an elastic band to hold it while it was gluing in place, and I could assemble the other lats without the other ones falling out. So if you're looking for a custom design of pretty much anything, contact me at CNCROI.com.